Hello friends! Today we're going to take another look at our alphabet book. This is the front cover, back cover, and the title. The title of this book is Alphabet Book, and this is the spine. Now just like our big book of poems, this book also has a whole bunch of poems, but these poems are all alphabet poems. When I open it up, I see the title page. That's just to remind you of the title in case you forgot. And when I turn the page again, I see a special place called the Table of Contents. The Table of Contents tells you where to find things. Today, we will be looking at 2 letter poems for the letters K and L. Before we look at them, let's talk a little bit more about those letters. Just like you and I have names, letters have names too. And when we write our names, we use an uppercase letter. Each letter has both an uppercase and a lowercase. All right, friends. Now, before I write these letters, there's something important I want to remind you of. This is the sky, the grass, and the ground. Remember, some letters start in the sky and some start in the grass. For the letter K, I'm going to start in the sky, touch the ground, go over a bit, back in the sky, diagonal to the grass, diagonal to the ground. That is an uppercase K. For lowercase k, I start in the sky, touch the ground. Now, this part is a little bit different. This time it starts in the grass, diagonal down, diagonal to the ground. That is the lowercase k. Now, what do you notice about uppercase K and lowercase k? You're right, they look almost the same, but what's different? Well, this diagonal line is shorter for lowercase k, and it doesn't touch the sky like uppercase K, but they both are made of straight vertical lines and straight diagonal lines. Remember, we know how to make our diagonal lines. All right, friends, let's look at our next letter. I'm going to write the letter L. For letter L, you start in the sky, touch the ground, and across the ground. That's an uppercase L. For lowercase l, you start in the sky and a small tail on the ground. This is the letter L. What do you notice about uppercase L and lowercase l? Well, they both touch the sky and the ground, but uppercase L has more lines. Oh, and lowercase l has a little curve. I do have to tell you something though. Remember yesterday how we talked about the letter, what letter are we talking about? Oh, we were talking about the letter I. So for letter I, Miss G likes to put a little tail. And the thing is, you can actually also write the lowercase l like this. And it's also correct. But like I talked about yesterday, that can get pretty confusing because you're not sure if that's an I or the number 1 or if it's our lowercase l. So Miss G likes to put a fancy little tail on her lowercase l. That way she knows for sure that that's lowercase l. All right, my friends. Now let's look at both letters. What do you notice? Well, you might say they both have a straight vertical line, well, minus the little tail. But the letter K has diagonal lines, and the letter L, it's only vertical or horizontal. So that's pretty different. Also, if you look at the way other people write the letter L, then it's just the one vertical line. Now that we know a little bit about the letters K and L, let's read some poems about them. Remember, we can check the table of contents to see where we can find them. I see the letter K is going to be on page 24, and the letter L is going to be on page 26. All right, let's look at our poem for the letter K first. So I'm going to go ahead. Here we are. Now, my friends, let's make some observations. What do you notice about the illustrations on this page? What do you see? You might say, I see a boy in a room. He has his window open. And it looks like the curtains are blowing, so maybe it's kind of windy. He also looks like he's flying a kite. That's kind of silly. And there are a bunch of different toys and some books and some clothing hanging over here. It looks like, well, what kind of toys do you see? There's lots of little trees, and some koalas and a kangaroo and a king, or maybe kings. What else? Some little cats and a ball. I'm not too sure what this is, but why don't we read about it and find out? You guys made some great observations. Let's read. Kathy keeps a kettle full of special things. Blue kazoos and kangaroos, kittens, kilts, and kings. Kaleidoscopes and kayaks, kickballs, kites, and keys. Koalas and kimonos, and 7 kapok trees. That sure was a fun poem. Oh, I see. These little instruments down here, that's a kazoo. And these trees, those must be the kapok trees. And the clothes on the wall, oh, those are a special type of clothing called kimonos. And, oh, this little boat that the cats are in, that's a kayak. Oh, and this tube must be the kaleidoscope. Wow, that sure was a fun poem about things that start with the letter K. Let's look at our poem for the letter L. Before we read, let's make some observations. What do you notice? You might say, I see a girl with a dog. What do you notice about the girl? She has a watering can, and it looks like she's watering some flowers. Oh, it looks like she has a garden just like Gabby, but her garden is all just flowers. And I know that this plant is lavender because my mom has a plant like that, but I'm not sure about the other ones. Let's see if we can find out what they are when we read about them. In Letitia's little garden, a lot of flowers grow, like lilies of the valley, with blossoms white as snow, and lavender and lilac, with little purple parts. Yes, Letitia's lovely garden brings beauty to our hearts. Oh, I see. These must be the lilies of the valley because it says that they have blossoms that are white, and I can see that they're white flowers. And I know that this is lavender, so these must be the lilacs because it says that the lilacs have little purple parts. I'm glad we got to find out a little bit more about the flowers in this poem. All right, friends, let's play a game. Every time you hear a word with a ooh, I want you to, so let's get ready first. Stretch up and then back down. And my friends, I want you to go on your toes, and we're gonna lift and lower by bending our knees. All right, friends? So I'm gonna read our poem and you're gonna lower and lift. So get ready. In Letitia's little garden, a lot of flowers grow, like lilies of the valley with blossoms white as snow, and lavender and lilac with little purple parts. Yes, Letitia's lovely garden brings beauty to our hearts. I'm so glad that we read I'm so glad that we got to read those alphabet poems together and talk about letters. I love reading poems with you. You're amazing. I'll see you again later.